Hello and welcome to Quays News. I'm Chloe McCauley.
And I'm Gabby Bursnell. Here's what's coming up on the programme today.
Keir Starmer has defended Labour's decision to block Andy Burnham.
Andy Burnham's doing a great job as the Mayor of Manchester, but having an election for the Mayor of Manchester when it's not necessary would divert our resources away from the elections that we must have.
Salford is soon celebrating its 100th year of being a city after it was granted its status back in 1926. Preparations for the event are already underway.
And Untold History to deliver a history trail that's celebrating the past 100 years of Salford.
This week is Independent Venue Week, celebrating both the people who run the venues and those who work in them.
You wouldn't have arena bands without places like Rebellion. You wouldn't have Ritz-sized shows without places like Rebellion or Gulliver's. You wouldn't have new bands week in, week out without spaces like these.
Mayor of Manchester Andy Burnham has been blocked from running as a Member of Parliament for Gorton and Denton. Andrew Gwynn stepped down from his position as MP of Gorton and Denton earlier this week, prompting a by-election to fill his role.
This comes as Reform UK announced their candidate as GB News presenter and Salford University alum Matt Goodwin. Our reporter Eloise Parry has more.
Labour have held the seat in an East Manchester constituency since before the Second World War, but now a by-election triggered by MP Andrew Gwynn stepping down from his role could put that decades-long run to an end in Gorton and Denton. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham set his intentions to stand in the by-election earlier this week, but Labour's National Executive Committee blocked him from standing. Now, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has defended that decision, saying that a mayoral election would take away vital resources from the Labour Party.
Andy Burnham's doing a great job as the Mayor of Manchester, but having an election for the Mayor of Manchester when it's not necessary would divert our resources away from the elections that we must have and that we must fight and win.
But critics argue that preventing Burnham from running could open the door for Labour to lose the seat, potentially to Reform UK.
You've got a lot of white working class people who are now moving away from, who are traditional Labour voters moving away towards Reform, and if Labour don't get those voters back, then I expect Matt Goodwin to win this by-election. I am confident if Burnham would have stood, he would have won the seat without too much problem. He's not standing, so Labour needs somebody who commands the respect of the electorate. And but what Labour really needs to do is to get the voters back that are losing towards the Green Party and the Workers' Party, George Galloway, and that's not an easy feat.
Labour are expected to announce their candidate this Saturday, the 31st, followed by the Green Party on February 1st. The Gorton and Denton by-election will take place on Thursday, the 26th of February. It's only then that the future of Denton and Gorton's leadership will become clear. Eloise Parry, Quays News.
This year marks a celebration of the anniversary of Salford's 100th year of being a city.
On the 21st of April 1926, Salford was awarded a city status from King George V, an exciting moment to be celebrated.
To mark the occasion, there is numerous community-led projects taking place, including street parties, exhibitions, storytelling and art festivals.
Our reporter, Harry Smith, spoke to some of the organisers of the event, including the Salford Locals History Society, to tell us more.
Salford is set to celebrate its 100th anniversary as its own city on April 21st, 2026. With Salford celebrating its 100th centenary, the Salford Local History Society are set to have a talk and plan some stuff for the upcoming centenary, with organisations coming in to help make a project. I got the chance to speak to the host of the Local History Society, Paul Sherlock, and organiser of the Salford History Trail.
I think for this specific project that we're doing at the moment, it's been commissioned by the Crescent Culture Collective, so it's going to be specifically Crescent. However, Untold History is something that is north.
Yesterday, a home invasion sparked an arrest in Little Hulton. Our reporter, Ramiel Holmesy, has more.
Currently standing outside Pendleton police station, where reports say that a 95-year-old woman was robbed during an attempted robbery by an 80-year-old male. Apparently, the male fled the scene during the robbery as he was called by the lady's friend. He left the victim unharmed despite her being tied up and is currently questioned by police. Reports also say that Greater Manchester Police is thanking everyone for their immediate support and is looking further into the query with the victim. The perpetrator tried taking the victim's wallet, but did not succeed because he left the scene, and there will be more reports as the interrogation continues. Rami Al-Homsi, Quays News, Salford.
Thank you, Rami. In brighter news, Independent Venue Week has begun, with an annual UK 7-day celebration of independent music and art venues owned and run by the people who work in them. Founder and CEO of IVW, Sybil Bell, launched the project in 2013, with the first celebration taking place in 2014. Our reporter Ellis Boggan has more.
Rebellion is one of the many independent venues across Manchester supported by Independent Venue Week. During the week, they are hosting a range of bands, and today I've come down to speak to the bookings manager to see what Independent Venue Week means to a venue like this. But first, what is Independent Venue Week?
Week of shows at the beginning of every year to kind of kickstart the year, get people back into gigs, get them thinking about it early. Obviously, typically we have a break over Christmas and there's no real shows in January, with it being, a quieter month. So it's supposed to be a bit of a kick, a boost for venues to do a bunch of shows, support independent artists in independent venues, get people into small grassroots spaces like this so that they continue to go all year round.
Independent Venue Week doesn't just support venues for 1 week. It helps keep venues busy for weeks afterwards.
But it's really important for us because you have a lot of artists that route tours around it. And it means that you have a lot of artists that start routing tours earlier, when typically, they might not think about doing shows until mid-Feb. That's another 3 weeks of us with no income. It kind of drags the whole touring circuit forwards 2.5 weeks. So even the stuff that doesn't happen during Independent Venue Week, it helps keep us busier the week after and the week after that, if that makes sense.
But independent venues don't exist purely for money. They exist to put on music to support local musicians.
All of our revenue largely is from the bar, but it's just about footfall. We want more people in the venues experiencing the music. We're providing a great platform for great music, supporting us there by getting people in, trying to get new people into music venues to give people a try, just to try new bands that they like. I think the disparagement between how much you pay here or how much you pay at an arena, you could come to 5-6 shows here. And somewhere like this doesn't exist if it's all about finances and money. Obviously, we operate a viable business that does well for itself. We exist off our own merit and we stand on our own 2 feet, absolutely. But it's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to work somewhere that isn't entirely driven on the profit of every single show. We do gigs because they're cool. We do bands because we like them. We put on shows because we know it's a good show and it's going to bring the young people out who are going to want to start their own bands and do more in the future.
So why is it important to support a local venue?
You wouldn't have arena bands without places like Rebellion. You wouldn't have Ritz-sized shows without places like Rebellion or Gulliver's. You wouldn't have new bands week in, week out without spaces like these.
So if you haven't already, head down to your local venue. You never know what you might find.
Now for some entertainment news. It was announced yesterday that Harry Styles will be performing at the Brit Awards. The singer announced an album this week after the release of his new single, Aperture. He will take to the Co-op stage on the 28th of February ahead of the prestigious awards. Gabby, do you have any strong feelings about Harry Styles?
Well, personally, not his biggest fan, never have been. I just generally don't like his music, and anything that surrounds him I find a little bit annoying, so I tend to stay out of the way of him.
That's fair enough.
But an aerodrome announced a 5,000 capacity open air music festival taking place over 4 days in summer 2026. From Thursday the 2nd of July to Sunday the 5th, acts such as Craig David and David Gray will perform for a local Salford crowd.
Sankey's have announced its location for their grand reopening. Taking its name from soap, it will be moving from its original location in Ancoats to Sydney Street, which is a short distance from Oxford Road. The club will reopen its doors this Saturday.
The Sounds from the Other City also released its lineup, with music taking place at venues across Manchester, such as Band on the Wall. The venue and event will help to champion the new rising stars in the music scene.
Now on to our sports segment. We are joined by Dan Giles to give us the latest headlines. Dan.
After an eventful winter, Salford Red Devils, now Salford Rugby League, are back this year with a fresh identity and new goals. Despite an unfortunate loss in their first championship game, they managed to get their first win in this year in a Challenge Cup second round game against Hammersmith Hill, where Salford won the game 42-10. They return to league action this weekend as they take on Borough Raiders. In boxing, Tyson Fury is stepping back into the ring yet again this April. The announcement comes off the back of his recent loss to Alexander Usyk, which caused his most recent retirement. However, for the fifth time he is out of retirement as he eyes up heavyweight contender Arzabek Makhmudov on the 11th of April. Both fighters are ready and raring for the bout, with Tyson Fury saying he is excited to be back in the ring. And his heart has been and always will be in boxing. His opponent shares this spirit as the contender said he is coming to deliver a war. The event will be exclusively on Netflix, with a venue yet to be announced. In snooker, Manchester prodigy Jude Owens has been dominating the headlines after becoming the youngest ever to perform 2 snooker trick shots, which earned him 2 Guinness World Records. The 2 shots he completed to get the records was a double pot on the snooker table and a bank shot on the pool table. Jude completed these shots while only being 2 years and 303 days old. At such a young age, I don't imagine this will be the last time we'll be hearing the name Jude Owens.
Thank you, Dan.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you for tuning in to Quays News.
We'll see you next time and have a good evening.